Okay, hi everyone. So today we will discuss about how we can create data frames. Okay, very few people in. Okay, so in last session we have discussed the architecture of Spark and architecture of Databricks. From today, so we will focus on how we can create data frames, how we will work with data sets and all. Okay, so let me define what is data frame. Yeah. So a data frame in PySpark is distributed collection of data organized in columns similar to table in relational databases. Okay, so nothing but so data frame in PySpark. So data frame is nothing in PySpark. So the data set, the data structure will be data frame. So data frame is nothing but two-dimensional description of data. So like in Google spreadsheet, we will see columns and rows, right? In SQL databases also. So our table structure is columns and rows, right? Same here, but the only difference is data frame will be no, so table, SQL table or Google spreadsheets. So they will we will store them inside the disk, right? In storage containers or SQL database somewhere we will store them. But data frame, PySpark data frame, it will store inside the RAM, random access memory, inside the Spark in memory. So the data frame is stored in memory, whereas table or other things, they will store in external storages. That is the only difference. So remaining everything is same. So it is table-like structure, we can say. So we have pandas data frame also. If you are aware of pandas, so in pandas also we have this data frame. So in pandas we have both. One is series data structure and data frame data structure. Okay, so pandas and RDDs we will discuss at the end of this what at the end of Databricks session. Okay, I mean so at the end of this course. So because I want to teach you so everything of PySpark. Okay, then interviews they may ask you about RDDs and pandas. So we will have 2 hour session on RDDs and pandas also. Okay, so don't confuse if you are already working with pandas data frame. So both are same. So pandas data frame and Databricks data frame both are same. But why we are not using pandas? Because so this data frame, PySpark data frame, is in memory computing, and we have this what distributed network computing system, right? PySpark, whereas pandas is not a distributed computing system. It runs on pandas data frame runs on single machine, whereas PySpark data frame runs on execute many executor. We will have many virtual machines, right? Worker machines, we will have many worker machines. So that's why it works on parallel system. It works on, and one more thing, it doesn't have. So pandas doesn't have lazy evaluation. Okay, whereas data frame, PySpark data frame, has lazy evaluation. This lazy evaluation concept we will discuss when we are discussing about RDDs and pandas. That time we will discuss. So lazy evaluation is nothing but, okay, So in PySpark architecture, we have lazy evolution. So lazy evolution means so PySpark architecture is lazy evolution. Yes, data frame is not evaluated until an action is performed. I mean, so we will have some one data frame. So after that data frame, so on top of that data frame, we will perform some transformations. I mean, so first step one, what you will do? So you will create data frame. Step one, creation of data frame. Okay, data frame. Second step two is transformation of data frame. Okay, step three is action. Okay, so let's think transformation, not one transformation. We have many transformations. Okay, so data frame is created first. Second, we have many transformation, df1, df2, df3, df4. So one is filter transformation, second one is group by transformation, third one is ordered by transformation. We will discuss all transformation, don't worry. So whenever you create data frame, so it is not actually created. Okay, whenever you do transformation, they are not actually transformed. Okay, so whenever you call action like display, you perform action like display or count or show or what, so yeah, take, collect, write. So these are the actions are count, display, show, take, collect, right? So whenever you perform action, then only data frame is created, transformations are performed. You can ask me how, Gopi, how? So at step three, all other steps are started execution. So in PySpark or in PySpark, in not in PySpark, in Spark. So in Spark, we have the architecture like, so there is lineage information. So Spark will store, okay, Spark will store uh, data in memory. So what data? The execution steps. Okay, Spark will store execution history. So what we have executed. First data frame is created. Second filter transformation is happened. Third some select transformation is there. Fourth group by. So it will record all the history. So what, that we call as, okay, lineage information. Lineage information is nothing but Spark will store the history. So it will record the history of transformations or these things. So the steps before action is called, it will store all the steps. We will call as that one as lineage information. Okay, whenever action is called, then that time, so from the history it will recall, so it will starts performation, start execution of everything. So whenever you call action like display data frame, so now the data frame is displayed and the transformation which you have provided, those all transformation performed, then it will display. Okay, so that is lazy evolution. We will discuss about lazy evolution and what are the uses of those lazy evolution. Everything we will discuss at the end of this course. Don't worry. So today we will create a data frame. So you know what is data frame? Data frame is nothing but the tabular structure or and what we can say Excel spreadsheet kind of data structure. So those are, but this data frame is stored in inside the what we call RAM memory, in memory. Okay. Okay. Let's create data frame. Okay, so no, so the good thing about Databricks is you no need to remember the steps. Okay, so because to create, let me show you how we can create this data frame. The syntax is, the syntax to create data frame is spark dot create data frame. So in and inside this one, first you will give first parameter will be data and the second parameter will be schema. Data and schema. Schema is nothing but column and their data type. So column names and their data type is called as schema. So the syntax for creation of data frame is spark dot create data frame and data and the schema. So don't worry. So how can we, Gopi? I don't know the structure. How can I remember all this? So you have help command. So you have a help function in this one. What? Databricks. So just help and spark. Let's see what is going to happen. You will get the full documentation. So whenever on top of this partner, so we are applying this help function, so it will provide what we have. So the all the functions and the methods and everything. So everything it will print. Okay. So here, okay, instead of this, I can use. So you have this one, right? In Python also we have dir function. So what it will give us? So it will list us all the objects and method inside for this object. So dir spark means on top of this inside this spark, whatever the objects or functions or method are there, so it will display everything. So what we are going to do? So on top of this spark, we can perform all of these functions. Okay, spark on top of this spark. But what we want create data frame, right? Let's check. So do we have any function like object like create data frame? Okay, so here I can see. Okay, here I can see create data frame. Okay, so you come to know. So no need to remember everything. So for for Spark, so on top of this Spark, we can perform create data frame. So what it is going to do? It will create our data frame. Okay. Yeah. So now help. Now I don't want to. So what parameters I need to perform? So I don't need to remember. So what I will do? So on top of this Spark, so we can use create data frame. So Spark dot create data frame. Then again help. Yeah. It will show you. So Spark dot, yeah, not director. This one help. Here you can see. So it will give you the, so please go through this documentation. So whenever you are free, so use this documentation. Okay, so parameters are what? First parameter is data, right? So the data, first parameter will be data, and the second parameter you need to pass schema. So wait. So first parameter is data. So data we need to pass, and second parameter is schema. Schema is nothing but column, list of column names and the data type, their data type. Okay. So schema is list of column names. The type of each column will be inferred from data. Okay. And there are many parameters. So sample ratio, verify schema. So there are many parameters, but you will use whenever you require. But this data and schema are parameters are required every time. Okay. So yeah. So first what we did, so we used Python function on top of this Spark, the dir Spark. It displayed us what are the functions or methods or objects available for Spark. So we want to create data frame. So create data frame is there. So we took help from this. So help function from help function. So we have seen the syntax. So on top Spark dot create data frame, what parameters we need to pass? So data and schema are must, and you can use other parameters. There are many parameters, so we can use whenever we require. So here you can have some example also. So create a data frame, a list of tuples. So if you have data as list of tuples, so how can we create this data frame? You can see here. So ls name comma this one, right? Name comma id. Okay. Spark dot create data frame. This is RDD. Dot collect means, so RDD we will discuss later. So RDD is nothing but it is one dimensional. Here you can see Spark dot create data frame. He has passed only data. There is no column schema, right? So one dimensional. So RDD is one dimensional. Okay. And here you can see data is two dimensional now. So name. So here he is giving JSON, I mean dictionary type of data. So it has name and key and value, right? Name, ls name is key, and name is key, nothing but name is a column name and value. So age is column name and its value. So it is two-dimensional now. So it is data frame now. Okay. So here you can see age and name. So two-dimensional it is. Okay. Don't worry about RDD and pandas now. So we will discuss. We'll have one session on them. So why I'm not discussing RDDs and pandas, because so PySpark is one PySpark data frames are one class, one type, and pandas data frames are one type, and RDDs are other type. So I don't want to confuse you by explaining everything. So first we will discuss everything of PySpark, then we can see RDDs and pandas. Okay. So now we know. So spark.create data frame, the parameters are data and schema. So no need to by heart. Okay. You can always use this help command or dir command. No need to by heart any syntax or commands. Okay. So let me create hard coded data. So when we use this hard coded data, because whenever you are working on some the manager or someone will give you some task, right? They will ask you to work on, so you will not directly develop it. So first you will, what you will do, so you will do POC is proof of concept. So for that you have to take dummy data, I mean hard coded data we have to take, and on top of that hard coded data we will develop our what we call this one, prototype. So that logic and everything we will create from that dummy data. So nothing but hard coded data. So today we will start with hard coded data. Then we will try to read from CSV files, JSON files, and Parquet files. On top of those files, we will work. So now see how can we create data frames from hard coded data. Okay. Okay, one John Staman, two Deepika. Okay, create one more. Create one more. Yeah, 3G1. Yes, okay. Okay, sufficient. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Okay. So data we have created, right? Data is nothing but yeah. So data, first one is ID and second one is name. So it is collection of tuples, right? So it is data is list now, but this list is collection of tuples. Tuples, you know. So they are inside. They are whenever we use this parenthesis. So these are they are tuples, and columns are schema. We can say schema equal to ID comma name. So yeah, first field is ID, second one is name. So see, the beauty of Databricks is, so it knows. So he has given name, so next one will be so ID and name only. So it has what it has history. So I have used this data earlier, so that's why. So it has this intelligence, so it created for me. So we know. So what is this one, to the syntax of creation of data frame, spark.create data frame, and data and schema. Okay, now df.show. So this data is nothing but list of tuples. So every item, so every tuple is nothing but one row. This is one row, first row. This one is second row. So the columns of these rows are columns of this data is nothing but the schema. So the schema ID and name. So here you can see it has displayed the data, right? So it has displayed this data frame, df data frame. So here you can see it is same, like it has two dimensional. So it has both columns and data. Okay. You can use df.display also. I will explain what is the difference between show and display. Yeah, df.display. Okay. Here, yeah, let me print schema also. Df print schema. Okay. So here you can see ID. So ID is long and name is string. Here you can see, oh, so this what this print schema function will do, it this will show the structure of your data frame. So it shows this print schema what it is going to do. So it is, where is print schema? Let me comment it. Comment. Okay. So print schema now. Here you can see, so it is this print schema, it is displaying both column name. So column name is ID and the data type. Here you can see, so the data type is long. So, but if I display this, if I display it, so it is not long, it is integer. So what we can say, yeah. So when PySpark infers schema automatically, so it is the PySpark is inferring the schema automatically. So it inferred the schema and it displayed the data type as long. But if you want to give, so if you want to give this data type as integer, so we have to explicitly provide the data type. So we will see how can we provide this data type explicitly. I mean, we have to manually provide the data type. So PySpark has inferred the schema automatically. It will infer the schema, but sometimes what it will do. So if you provide some date, it will infer the schema as string only. But to process the data, we need the date type as date type. So the date type should be, we have date type data also. So if it is string type, we have to convert it into date type, right? So that time we have to explicitly define the schema. So we will see how can we explicitly define the schema. Okay. We have, if you want to know, so Gopi, how can I know display? How can I know print schema? So you can use dir and the def. So here you can see for this data frame, so how many functions or methods or objects are there, it will print everything. So on top of this df, you can perform everything, aggregation function or alias, count, okay, and temp view, cross join, okay. You can, where is our display? Schema, print schema. Right. Okay. Where is print schema? Print schema. Here you can see. So we can use print schema to print the schema to display the schema. We can use this print schema. Okay. And where is display? Display display. Yeah. So here you can see display. So df dot display. So always, so don't confuse or don't worry about this coding or coding on Databricks. Just use dir. So on top of this df, what function or methods are available, you can use dir. So if you know the function, so you can use now df dot print schema for documentation. So the parameters which we have to pass and the every information it has documented in Databricks. Here we can take help from here. So Databricks help you can take, and it will show you some examples. Also, it will show you. Okay. So here we have created data frame, and if you want to print schema, this is the syntax. So don't worry about this syntax. So yeah. So now about print schema, right? So Databricks PySpark will what it will do, it will automatically infer the schema, but sometimes we have to provide, so it doesn't infer the schema as integer, right? So now we want to give the data type to be integer. So how manually we can explicitly, I mean explicitly, how can we enforce the schema? We will see. Okay. If you want to define the data types explicitly use, we have struct type and struct field. So you can use both of these, struct type and struct field. Okay. Yeah. Gopi, I don't know what is this struct type and struct field. So you can take help from Databricks. Help struct type. So from PySpark dot. So from PySpark library, we have to import this struct type and struct field because these are not inbuilt. These are what we have to import them. So they are inbuilt functions, but we have to import them. So from PySpark dot SQL dot functions. So from this library, from this PySpark library, we have to import some function. So what I will import, I have to import many. So I don't import each one. What I can do, so I want to import everything. So you can use star. So what it will do, it will import everything. And okay, so now you can ask Databricks. You can take Databricks help now. So what documentation is saying? So help on class type in module PySpark.sql. So on top from this module, we have imported this struct type. So class struct type. So it is data type. Okay. So struct type is one of the data type. Okay. Struct type. The first parameter is field. Okay. Yeah. Let me go to parameters. You can go to this this documentation. Okay. Yeah, parameters. So for this struct type, okay, the parameter is first one is field and second one is data type. So first one is field and second one is data type and third one is what is the third one? Nullable, whether it is nullable or not. I mean, so that column. So if you are taking ID as field, okay, ID first one is ID, right? Second one is name. So ID data type will be integer and nullable. So should I allow? Should we allow nulls or not? So you can give so either true. If you give true, so it will allow what null values in for ID column. If you give false, so ID should not be null. Name also for name. So second field will be name and data type will be string type and nullable. So name should be not null, right? And ID should not employee ID. So if without employee ID, so I mean for every employee will have some ID, right? So it is nullable will be false. And every employee will have name, right? So nullable will be false. Okay. So returns struct type. Okay. We will see one example. Yeah. So schema is first struct type and inside this struct type we will use struct field. Okay. So in struct field is nothing but okay. This struct type is for old data frame. This struct field is for one column. So okay. We have both struct type and struct field functions. Okay, so this struct field for defining the data type for only one column. Okay, so if you have 3 to 4 columns, then this struct type will define the for all the 4 columns. Okay, maybe it will be confusing as of now. So let me create this schema. So then you can understand. Okay, so schema. What we have to use struct type, right? Yeah, struct type. So on, okay, let me type everything. So because first time we are explaining, right? So this is the function. So we have to use this function struct type. So in that struct type, how many columns we have? So for our data frame, how many columns we have? 2 columns. One is ID and other one is name. So what what PySpark is doing, it is inferring schema as long. But what we want to do, so we want to convert it to we want this data type as integer. So manually we are providing, right? So struct type and how many it has 2, right? That's why I will use list. So for first one, so struct.
Sir, I have a question. So here nullable means It accepts null values also. Is that the meaning, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So structure type. So first field ID field. Okay. ID. Okay. First field name is ID, and the data type is, so earlier it is this one, right? Long type. I want integer type. Integer type. And nullable, whether nullable or not. So you can give so true or false. I don't want to allow null values for ID because every employee will have ID, right? So I don't want to allow. Okay, now so first one is completed. First one is completed now. Okay, ID. Yeah, first one is completed. Second one. So for second one also struct field. We'll use struct field. Okay. Name, yes, correct. Name, string type. Yeah, name should be string type. And so I don't want to allow null values for this. Okay. Yeah. So now you understood, right? What is this struct field and struct type? So struct field to define the data type of one column. So we have two columns, right? So this one, first one will define the data type for ID field. So second one, so this one will define the this one data type for second field. Second field is name. First field is ID. Second field is name. So for each field, we will use struct field. On top of this struct field function only, we will define this, what is the field name, what is the data type, whether it will allow null values or not. This one, this is the syntax. So here we have struct type is, this struct type is for data frame. So we have two columns, right? So for both of these, to combine all of these, so we use struct type. So struct field is at column level, field level, and struct type is for data frame level. That is the difference. Okay. Struct field, for each field we will use struct field function. Struct type is for total data frame structure it will define. Struct type will define the total data structure of the data frame, and struct field will define the data type, data structure of data type of each field. That is the difference. Understood? If I run this, it will throw error. Yeah, so name struct field is not defined. Okay. We have defined now. Import star. So from PySpark.SQL.functions, not functions, types, import, no, function only. Struct field is functions, right? Import struct field. Okay. Struct field. Okay. Struct, oh, FIELD. Correct. What ST RUCT FIELD? It is correct only. So now you see, so struct field is we have imported from this module. So now integer type is not defined. So we have to what import data types also. So how can we import? From PySpark.SQL.types we will use. Okay. Import star. Now let's see. Yeah, so now it ran successfully. Okay, so every time what you can do, so you can run both of these in all of your notebooks. Okay, no need to import each type or each function every time. So from this modules, so from PySpark.SQL functions, you can import all the functions, and from this module from PySpark.SQL.types, you can import all the data types. So first run this one, and you will not face any error here. Okay. Now let's okay, data frame one equal to spark dot create data frame. Okay, and the first one is data and second one is schema. Now print, yeah, print schema of this one. Here you can see. So now earlier this ID data type is long. Now you can see we have defined explicitly, right? Manually, we have defined this data type. So now it is integer and string. Okay, so it is required. It requires sometimes from CSV file or JSON file. So when we infer the schema, automatically what PySpark will do. So it gives us long or now for date type also it will give string type. So then that time we have to enforce the schema. So that time you can use schema. You can define the schema like so using this struct type and struct field. So we will this struct field will define the data type of each field, and this struct type will define the structure of the data frame. Okay, so this struct type is function and this struct field is data type. Okay, so yeah, many times we will use in real time, many times we will use this schema. So what we will do, so we will manually enforce the schema. Okay, now you know so how to create data frame from a list of tuples, and you know how to define the schema also. Okay, and don't think that every time I have to use this schema only, schema variable. No. So you can use schema one also. So if you use schema one, then also it will work. So there we have this data and schema parameters, right? So here you can define like data equal to data, schema equal to schema. So here you can see data. So here data is keyword, schema also keyword. This data is parameter. Okay, this data is parameter name. Okay, this data. And this data we have defined now. So here we have defined now. This is variable. Here we have defined data, right? This is variable. And this one is parameter name. First parameter is data, right? That one. Second one, schema. Schema is parameter name. And this schema one is variable which we have created. Okay, so this one, schema one is which we have created. This one we can you can use data one also. So to avoid confusion, you can use data one or D1, some variable name you can use. Don't confuse about this. So because it is the first session, right? You may because you may see these kind of what syntax in some other videos, some other reference videos or anywhere. That's why this data is parameter name, this schema is parameter name, and this data one is variable name, and schema one is variable name. So without this data and schema also, without writing this parameter and this one also, we can execute, no problem. Otherwise, if you want, you can define, you can use those parameters also. Okay, creation of data frame. We have seen the, I mean, manually we have explicitly we have given. Okay. Okay, so if you have JSON type of data, so how can we create data frame from JSON type of data? Let's see. Now, instead of data, I will use D, and I will use dictionary now, not this one, what tuples or list. I don't want to use. So, okay, ID one and name Shravan. ID two, name Deepika. Okay. ID three, name. Okay. Okay. It is sufficient. It is sufficient. Okay. So now df1 equal to spark dot create data frame So guys, let me help me here. So do I need to pass schema also now? Because this create data frame has two parameters, right? So one is data and the other one is schema. So what will be the schema now? Can you guys help me?
Yeah, come on, sir. You asked something.
So now I am using JSON type of data.
Okay.
So how can you because this Spark.create data frame expects two parameters, right? One is data,
Yeah, and
other
schema.
one
Yes.
schema. So what
Yes.
schema you will pass here?
df dot show.
Huh? No, I am asking about schema, guys. The Shankar, Sidhu, Ritesh, anyone?
ID and name, sir.
Okay. Do I need schema separately when we are using
No, you don't need,
JSON?
sir. You already give an ID here itself, right? ID name and ID name means it's schema only.
Yeah,
And the
correct,
data you
correct.
already give ID one, Shravan, two, Deepika. This is data.
Wait,
So
wait,
it's
wait.
built
Okay.
schema,
So
right?
yeah, wait. So here, when you are using JSON data, so ID name are keys, right? ID names are keys, and one Shravan is data. So one Shravan is one row. I mean, this ID is key and one is value. Name is key, Shravan is value. So means we are passing both column names and rows we are passing. So ID and name are column names. One Shravan is first row. Two Deepika is second row. Three Naveen is third row. Four Deepika is fourth row. So like that. So we don't need to pass schema second parameter when you use JSON data because schema is already defined there. Okay, let me print schema also.
I have one. Can I have ID instead of ID1 in one of the tuples?
No. So
one
how
name one.
it, if you have ID1, it will fail. It won't accept na. Oh, yeah. Here you can see. So it has created third one, and other values are null. If you see.
Extendable schema. Extendable schema.
Yes. So it has created third one, third column. Okay, so when we use JSON data, JSON dictionaries, I mean, JSON is nothing but when you use dictionary as data, this one, data dictionary, I mean, list of dictionaries, then no need to define the schema explicitly. But but here it has given ID as long. So how can you do? So if you want ID as string, ID as integer, you know how to do. So you can use this same D comma. Now I can use this one, right? D comma schema 1. See now, so we already defined schema 1 there. So I am using schema now. So what it does earlier, the data type is long. Now when we use schema, so now schema is it has manually we have defined now. So integer. Now the data type is integer. Okay. Okay, so now Sidhu, if I give ID1, so what will happen now? Any answers?
Schema 1 will override, right? The schema 1 that we have mentioned in this will override.
No. It will throw error because so when we are defining schema, we told that so this ID should not allow null values and name should not allow null values. This time, what it will do? So when you change this ID name, it will throw error because because we don't have ID1 in all the dictionaries, right? So that's why it will throw error. Understood?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, but I can see only 3-4 participants. I don't know how they will catch for the next session. If they don't if they don't go through this lecture na, then they will face problems, because it is the important because we will use this data frames, and we will create data frames every day, and we will read CSV files every day. Okay, we will define schema every day for all the transformations, and from here onwards we will use all these every day we will use. Okay. Let me upload some JSON CSV. So now we have worked on. I mean, we have seen how to create data frames and how can we define the schema, and for JSON file. I mean, so how we give it a constraint. So on field, I mean, it should allow null values or not. That one also we have seen. So now what we can do. So in real time, we will not get. I mean, we won't hard code the data. We will get data from different data stores. The data stores will have files like CSV file, JSON files. On top of this CSV file, we have to work. So let me show you. So how can we read the data from CSV file? Okay, how can we work on this one? Okay, Gopi ADLS containers input. Okay, we have data SRH CSV. How can I read from here? Df equal to spark dot read dot CSV. Don't worry, guys, if I write. Okay, so what you can do, you can use this function. Dir spark, it will show all this. So we want to read we know, so what to do. So we want to read the file, right? So here you can see, you can search for any read function is there. Yeah, we have read method. So read. So now spark dot read. So now you know, so spark dot read is the correct object. Now you can take help from Databricks. It will have the syntax. It will give all the documentation examples and what parameters you have to pass. Everything it will show. So here I want to read CSV file, right? So you can read many files. Here you can see documentation for spark.read.CSV you can read, and JSON we have seen, and we have seen JDB. So you go through this documentation, guys. Go through each documentation, what parameters it has, and you can see some examples. Okay, so it is good practice. So because we all are new to this Databricks, right? That's why. So first use this dir on top of this Spark of what function. So you want to you are looking for create data frame or read function. So you know. So spark.read is available. Take help from Databricks and it will show you. So you want to read which file? CSV. So spark.read.csv. Take help from here and it will show you the syntax now. So spark.read.csv. Okay. Where is read? Yeah, spark.read.csv. First one is D. D is nothing but, let me show you the parameters. Okay. So first we have to pass for this spark.read.csv inside this one. So we have to pass first parameter as path and second one as schema if you have schema, and third one many parameters are other parameters are there. So if you click on this documentation now, it will show you spark.read.csv file name and everything, the documentation. It will help you guys. So go through this documentation. Okay. Yes. Now I want to read, right? So spark.read. So the syntax is spark.read.csv and the first parameter is path. Okay. So path is slash. So we will discuss about this one. So when we are working on ADLS. So as of now, think that we can access to ADLS location. Okay. Now think, so I will show you how can we connect from Databricks to storage account. We will see everything using mount point. We will create mount point. So everything we will create. So don't worry. So now think that the connection is established. So this one's path, what we have to do, mount /mount you have to use, and what input, right? Inside input we have data srh.csv file. This file we have. Data SRH file we have. Data SRH file we have. Okay, here you can see. So here you can see what it returns. So write a data frame, it returns. Here you can see where. Yeah, so the result loads a CSV file and returns the final result as data frame. Okay, so this if you run this one, it won't store as data frame. So it will. I mean, data frame is created, but whenever you assign this one to date some variable, then that time this data frame is stored inside this DF. Here you can see. So inside this DF, this data is stored. Now I want to display data. See here. So what it does, here you can see what is the data. So let me show you the actual data, real data inside this CSV file. Here you can see, so first one is name, ID, age. This is the column name, and these are the rows. Okay, but what it does, so it treated this PySpark treated everything as data. You can see name, ID, age also data, and C0, C1, C2 also data. So if you see the data, this one data type of this one, so see column 0 is string, column 2 is string, everything is string, because so here ID is string na, so ID is string text value, and these are numerical values. So it thought, okay, it has alphanumerical, that's why string. Here also it has age is string text value, and remaining are numerical values. It thought, so it has alphanumerical values, that's why it might be string. But so we have to pass one more parameter, because here you can see, so we haven't given other parameter, that is header. So header parameter we haven't passed, that's why. So what it thought, PySpark thought everything is data, so everything is data it thought. That's why it has created C0, C1, C2 as column names. So these are these column names are created by PySpark, and name ID is also it thought of what data only. So now we have to pass this one header parameter. Okay, so if you pass header parameter, now see, so name, ID, age are columns now. Yeah, what we expected, same name, ID, age are columns. Okay, and this is the data, correct. So now can you see, you can see till, so it is thinking name as string, ID as string, age as string, because we haven't, because we haven't asked PySpark to infer the schema, right? So we have to infer schema. So we have other parameter infer schema. So what it will does, whenever you pass this infer schema equal to true, what it will do? So now PySpark will start analyzing the data now. So we have passed header equal to true. So header, this one is columns now. Now we haven't asked PySpark to do the analysis of schema. So now infer schema is true now. So it will infer automatically. So it will go through this data. So first column is name, right? So name we have all text values. So that's why it is string. So now ID, for ID column, all are the integers. Now what it will think? So this is long, and age also long. Now if I display, I used infer schema parameter also. Now you can see name is string, ID is integer, age is integer. So PySpark, what the intelligence is, the PySpark automatically inferred the schema of those columns by analyzing the data. Okay, that is the beauty of this PySpark architecture. It will automatically what it does the, so what we have to do, we have to pass the required parameters, header parameter we have to pass, and infer schema we have to pass. So sometimes what will happen, guys, so sometimes, so all will be data, I mean we will not have this name, ID, age as fields in some cases. Then that time, so header will be false. So I mean we have to create manually the column names. You will do what you will do. So anyone can anyone explain how you will do? So if you don't have name, ID, age here, so first row will be Abhishek 121. So then what you will do? How will you create this column names? Anyone can explain? Okay, so now what you will do? So you will create schema. You will create schema explicitly. Manually, you will create using struct type and struct field columns. So you have three columns, right? Name, age, and ID. So you can what you can create manually the schema, and you can pass this in schema equal to schema variable here. So no need to use this infer schema here. So you can use schema which you have defined here. So that time you can pass the in struct field. Okay, let me explain from here. So you will use this one schema parameter, struct type, struct field. So it doesn't have ID, this one, right? So first column is Abhishek 125. So what you will do? So first one will be name. It will be string type. It won't allow for null values false. Second one will be struct field ID. So integer type false. Third one will be struct field and age string type. Integer type false. So now you have explicitly given the schema. You have explicitly given the column names and data type also you manually enforce. Understood? Everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, guys, we have very less participants today. So let's start the session.
Yeah, sir. I have a small question. So in the real time, we not regularly, I mean daily basis, we don't